Our journey has been for a long time.
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity of getting all my questions answered by you. And so I have something to talk about. I love the fact that you always seek to take the thought where it hasn't been before. So expansion, and that's my intention for this conversation.
It's not possible to be in a moment and not do that. But when we do it together, there's a greater awareness of it having happened. Every moment is an expansive moment because you are not the same from moment to moment. You think you are, but you're not. There are vibrational differences that are in your point of attraction. Vibrational differences that are so much vibrational, they are not always recognized by you. But you cannot stop your expansion, but the awareness of it, that's when it gets really good, isn't it?
Yes.
We're ready for you.
And if I understand this correctly, Abraham does not have a separate consciousness than we humans. So when I hear people say it's Abraham's teachings, I always resonate to something that you said, unless you ask a question, we don't have an answer.
That's an accurate way of saying it, but we want to give you more detail about it. Intelligence and consciousness is infinite, but it requires focus for it to be perceivable. And anything that is not perceivable is not satisfying. It's the old, if the tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, did it really fall? Or did it make a noise thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
The answer is it made a vibration, but it didn't make a noise. Because the ear has to translate it into the sound.
What's the gap?
Like that.
What's the gap from your knowingness and our knowingness?
Indescribable.
If you could describe it, how would you describe it?
It's a gap that never closes. We'll start there. And you are the reason that it doesn't close. Because you continue to do the step oneing. You continue to launch the rockets. You continue to launch rockets of desire that you're not up to speed with, but the moment you launch it, we are. And that's the gap. The reason that we say indescribable is because there are so many facets to it. In other words, we cannot be descriptive, not in your lifetime, of the contents of your vortices. But these conversations feel vague and unsatisfying, while the details of what you are living are delicious. It's like what goes on in the world. There's something that we said almost the first conversation that flowed through Esther. We were explaining to you that your world is vast and mostly tuned in, tapped in, turned on. In other words, most of what is happening around your planet is an existing match to who you really are and what you want. But there are those contrasting experiences where there is attention to what is not wanted, but it is minuscule in comparison with the well-being that is flowing. But humans, in their quest to find a need and fill it, find a problem and fix it, find a way of validating existence that doesn't need to be validated, but somehow you keep sort of thinking that it does need to be. So you tend to look all around the world for what is a problem and then bring it into the forefront, your news media especially, so much of what's going on in the world. And so what's happening, we're going to clarify for you, and it really is at the heart of what's going on here in this leading edge conversation. What happens is that in today's humanity, or mass consciousness society, world consciousness, what's happening is you are considering too much of what's going on all at once. If you're just living your daily lives, what you have the capacity to experience and observe would be wholly manageable to you. We used to say to you, and you liked it when we did, so we're going to say it again. If your television were accurate as it presents its world news to you, you could watch it for 24 hours and it would be, good feeling presentation if it were vibrationally accurate to what's going on in your world. And at some point in the day, there would be a zzz, like a little piece of static, zzz, a glitch, zzz. And you would say, what was that? And we would say, the sum total of everything not wanted that happened on the planet today, zzz, in relationship to all of that other 24-hour programming. But that isn't the way you are oriented, because you are problem solvers. And so you didn't start out that way, you just got that way once you got here. Then what happens is you take on more than is really easy to calibrate around. The reason that we're giving you that sort of basis in response to your question is because wouldn't it be nice if your orientation was about what's really going on, and then there would be very little gap between non-physical consciousness and human. But the gap happens because humans practice the vibration that disallows them to see through the eyes of source. But you don't have to croak to be source and see through the eyes of source. You can be physically present and tuned to that, and every now and again, zit, 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 every now and again, once a day, zit. Glad that's over.
Would you say the reason, and I heard you say this multiple times for over the years about the TV analogy.
We just want you to get it in perspective.
Yeah, and there are more and more people are listening to you. There's like all these people are new, or at least their first time. So why the media is the way it is? Why haven't we, the Abers, had to change it? Is it because we're looking for expansion?
But here's the thing. It's all right. The media is a match to the public's vibration. It's a match. That's why it works the way it does. It's a match. And there are lots of things that are matches. What we're asking you to do in your desire, we hear you, to live happily ever after, just not occasionally. Happily. Always after. Happily. Happily. What we think would be a really good idea is if you are wanting that you not worry about what so many are doing, and you just do what you do deliberately, apart from them, irrespective of them, irrelevant to them, not wanting to blend with them. But it goes back to what we were talking about yesterday. So why is that? Sometimes something will happen and you ask, why is that? And we say, you want the reason. We say, law of attraction is the reason. Why did that come to me? Why did that happen? Why is this happening? Law of attraction is the reason. That's always the answer. Law of attraction is the reason. But you don't have to be a match to that. So what is it that you're asking?
Well, I have another question coming, but since one that is connected is more powerful than million, we have a lot of millions of...
But your power isn't to control them or change them.
It's not that.
But that's kind of what your implication is. Why, if a group of people gets tuned in, tapped in, turned on, why aren't they gathering more? And it's because law of attraction's doing the gathering. And you know, the power of influence, as you are living and teaching to do the clarity of your example, every now and again, someone bumps up close to you who gets a whiff of you and realizes that is what they have been looking for. But it isn't about anyone getting out there and changing minds. It's not like that. It's vibrational influence. Your words are, your words so often say the opposite of what you mean. Your words are often so step one-ish that you just become part of the step one. So as you stop worrying about them and pay attention to your calibration to who you are, so that it's steady, 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 steady. And that really is what is happening. That's what a paradigm shift is. That's what's on the very near horizon these days, because as more and more of you are knowing what you don't want, you are launching these rockets about what you do want. And that attraction is very, 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 very powerful. And so more and more people who are in the vicinity of it are feeling the calling of it and then liking it when they get there. This is a room full of teachers and healers and born uplifters. And we want to soothe you. We want to help you in the way that we've been offering soothing to Esther. Because Esther, not so long ago, was standing right where you're standing with this question and asking, Abraham, we've been at this for so long. And so much of what I see is oblivious to what I know. And you say that we are all born like that and knowing that, and then we get influenced sort of away from that. And what we keep wanting her and you to understand is that nothing's going wrong. That step one is part of the overall expansion. It's just that more and more of you are realizing that suffering is not the path to your satisfaction. And humans mostly still are teaching that.
Yeah. Yesterday we were sharing a story of Esther and Jerry about Esther always wanting something, and Jerry's like, you want to hold this off until save a little bit more. I'm like that sometimes.
Jerry understood, even when he came together with Esther, the power of attraction. He didn't have those words, but he knew the power of momentum, the power of escalation. And he could feel the clarity of Esther. He liked really minimalistic spaces. And he would say to Esther, let's not junk it up. And every time Esther buys one more thing and brings it home, she says to Jerry, junking it up. Junking it up. It was like that. He also loved savoring. We encourage that too. But you don't have to hold back from anything. That gap that you were talking about earlier, you just have to stay up to speed with your own desires. If you're asking for more than you're letting in, then you're out of balance. If you're letting in more than you're asking for. So two people come together, one who's asking for more and one's not asking for so much. You have to find some balance there, don't you? Yeah.
I misunderstood that story when you were saying yesterday because I like Nutella. Sometimes at night after my wife goes to bed, there's a jar of Nutella. I said, well, let's eat the whole thing. And I'm enjoying it while I'm eating it. But next morning, sometimes I feel guilty, and then I go, I shouldn't have done that. And then I said, that's too late, because my inner being is not looking to last night. But I don't know if that's a cop-out. Seems like there are others who have this similar question.
How do you know what you do want until you live some of what you don't want? Are you eating the jar from the upper half or the lower half of the emotional scale?
Nutella tastes like heaven, so...
So that means you're having buyer's remorse, eater's remorse. You're having eater's remorse, which means when the inspiration was there and you were following it, all is well. When you decide to approach it from the guilty lower half of the emotional scale, now that's when you lose your connection with source energy and your ability to have the digestive balance that you are looking for.
Thank you.
You got that?
Oh yeah, 100%. I love it. This is great.
So does that mean, Abraham, if I were on the upper half of the emotional scale, primarily happy, primarily on the upper half of the scale, and I were just following my happy impulses, that I could participate in more of the things I love and stay in balance? Yes, absolutely. Because when you are in concert with your inner being, every aspect of your physical apparatus is being tended to from that broader perspective.
I have one question, then I'll get off.
We really want you to eat that jar from an emotional point of view.
I will now, thank you.
Because sometimes it's boredom.
Guilty. Well,
And so,
Thank you.